possible to see everything at Sea-Arama Marine World on Galveston Island in one day, if you're very fast.
The small marine park called Sea-Arama in Galveston. The owners have decided they no longer get enough business, or maybe can't compete with the big parks like SeaWorld. Anyway, they decided to sell the mammals and close up shop, and today was the last day for Sea-Arama in Galveston. Kind of a sad day.
This afternoon was the last marine show. After 25 years, Sea-Arama was forced to close shop because of financial troubles. Officials say poor attendance and rising costs attributed to the failure of the tourist attraction. This last show was not only sad for the crowd, but especially for the trainers.
In the 1960s, marine-themed attractions were booming across the United States. Success of places like Marineland in California and the original SeaWorld in San Diego inspired entrepreneurs to look towards the Gulf Coast as prime real estate for a new marine wonderland. Opening on November 7th, 1965, at the cost of nearly $2 million, the Sea-Arama would immediately become a tourist hit for the area. 1965 was a big year for tourism in the Houston area, as the Astrodome had just opened. Like many places in Galveston, Sea-Arama was a place of firsts. It was one of the nation's first ocean-themed parks and one of the first on the Gulf Coast, and it was the first to offer 3 different locations: the Oceanarium, the Aquarium, and the Aqua Amphitheater. Sea-Arama was also the first to have a porpoise-shaped pool lined with glass panels. It gave the audience a chance to observe the animals during feedings and shows. The park was located on 25 acres of land at 91st Street and the seawall, holding a 50-foot deep, 200,000-gallon aquarium, as well as a man-made lake. In addition to the animal entertainment, Sea-Arama held water ski shows, with skiers doing tricks and comedy bits, puppet shows, and costume mascots such as Captain Sharky. Also available were tropical gardens, a petting zoo with kangaroos, goats, deer, sheep, and rabbits, an oleander garden designed with cooperation with the National Oleander Society, alligator island, raft ride, gifts and food shops, dining areas, and even a water slide. This park really had it all. There was even talks about expanding to offer amusement park rides. The animals at Sea-Arama were the heart of the shows. The Oceanarium showed exotic fish for people to view and learn about. There were even piranha. The Aqua Amphitheater held shows with dolphins, killer whales, and sea lions. Throughout the years, additional animals were added, including sea otters, sharks, alligators, turtles, snakes, birds, and bears. There were shows for alligator wrestling, bear tricks, and snakes. The snake show ended with the famous kiss of death when a handler kissed of the hood of an angry cobra. For Texas families in the 60s through the 80s, it was the place to be for birthday parties, field trips, and summer vacations. Sea-Arama would hit its stride in the 70s and 80s. Every summer, Galveston was flooded with tourists heading for the beach and to visit to Sea-Arama. The park's main attraction, of course, was the Killer Whale Show, featuring trained orcas performing synchronized jumps and soaking the front rows. Back then, few people questioned the ethics of marine mammal captivity. People were just in awe. Beyond the whales, Sea-Arama also had trained dolphins, parrots, and even shark feedings. For a time, it seemed Sea-Arama could last forever, but even the biggest waves eventually break. Signs of decline were noticeable just 9 years into the park's opening, as the orcas were pulled from the park. The park was then left without its 2 stars, Mammoth and Nemo. The year 1972 saw the park register its record-ever attendance of 405,000 attendees, but after 1975 there wasn't any whales, and the park began its slow decline. By the mid-1980s, Sea-Arama began to struggle. The rise of larger, corporate-backed parks like SeaWorld San Antonio, which would open in 1988, drew attention and visitors away from Galveston. SeaWorld had more funding, flashier shows, and bigger marketing. Sea-Arama just could not compete. At the time, public sentiment was also shifting. Growing concerns about the ethics of keeping whales and dolphins in captivity started gaining traction, fueled by documentaries, protests, and changing laws. Sea-Arama also began to face infrastructure issues. Maintenance costs were piling up. Its aging facilities and lack of reinvestment made it harder to keep up with the visitor expectations. Then came the final blow. Hurricane Alicia in 1983 and later Hurricane Andrew in the early 90s. Though not a direct hit, these storms damaged the facilities and hurt the already fragile local tourism economy. The park would change owners in 1984, which promised to bring investments to the quickly aging complex. In June of 1989, Sea-Arama announced that the needed improvements were coming, but things were looking grim. In December of that same year, city leaders held a meeting in attempts to keep Sea-Arama running. However, all announcements and discussions would fall through, and the Sea-Arama Marine World closed after its final show on January 14, 1990. Following the closure, the animals were sold to various parks and zoos across the country. The park was officially abandoned. There were vague plans for the city of Galveston to turn it into an educational and research aquarium, possibly connected with the marine science programs at Texas A&M, but nothing ever came to fruition. At one point, a 36-acre Greyhound track was destined for the area near the park, but that ended up being built just a few miles north, which coincidentally is also sitting abandoned to this day just off of I-45. For a while, the ruins of Sea-Arama were a ghost town of childhood memories, empty tanks, crumbling bleachers, and faded murals. In 2006, the park would be deemed a safety hazard as teens and curious explorers were frequently walking throughout the park. 16 years after the park's closure, Sea-Arama would be demolished, leaving the space a large and empty field. Though it's gone, Sea-Arama lives on in memories, photo albums, and the hearts of those who experienced it. In recent years, nostalgia for Sea-Arama has grown. Facebook groups, YouTube retrospectives, and online photo archives have popped up, preserving what little is left of the park's legacy. Some call it a relic of a simpler time. Others see it as a cautionary tale about the sustainability of animal-based entertainment and how fast the tides of public opinion can shift. Today, all that remains of Sea-Arama is a patch of land, some grainy VHS tapes, and the fond memories of those who enjoyed it. Like many roadside attractions of its era, it just could not survive the rising tide of modern entertainment. But there once was a time.
Whoa! What do you think the best summer job in the world is? Well, ask any of these water skiers here at Sea-Arama, and they'll tell you it's theirs. Tonight on PM Magazine, we're going behind the scenes of this dangerous and very fun summertime job. We'll meet all the people responsible for the Sea-Arama Water Ski Show.
Got to be the best summer job in the world.
I love it so much I can do it every day. I mean, it's never boring to me. Keep in shape, get a good tan, makes my hair turn blonde, and I hate when it turns around in the winter. And basically, I just love it.
Ever since I was little, when I was learning how to ski out here, they just told me you got to love it. If you don't love it, you won't come back.
And love is why these youngsters do come back year after year. Most of the skiers at Sea-Arama and Galveston have been skiing together for many summers. They're kind of a family.
This year, we've been especially close because we've had a smaller group, and I think that, you know, you're working with the same people more and more every day. Instead of seeing somebody once or twice a week, you're seeing them 5 times a week, at least. And so, you know, it just kind of makes you closer.
Mary Jo Urbani is like many of her cohorts. She's been skiing with the group for 7 years. She'll be graduating from college soon with a computer science degree and joining the ranks of the working class. How does she feel about that?
Depressed. I think about it a lot because I'm going to graduate, and I know my dad's going to want me to get a real job, and I kind of dread it.
Wait, he's in the wrong place. Jamie! Hi. Jamie, you're in the wrong place. What? I said get down! He said get down!
It must be terrible to find something to do for a living worth loving and have to grow out of it. So many people simply settle for a career they can do when they're 50. Ronnie Rouse is one of a breed who refuses to let go. Oh yeah, he has his real job, but on the weekends and in his spare time, he directs the show.
The kids I got are grown-ups or whatever.